Covenant deals with such rights as freedom of movement, equality before the law, the right to fair trial and presumption of innocence, freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, freedom of association, participation in public affairs, and elections, and the protection of minority rights. It prohibits the arbitrary deprivation of life, torture, cruel or degrading treatment, or punishment, slavery, and forced labor, arbitrary arrest or detention, arbitrary detention. Arbitrary interference with privacy, war, propaganda, discrimination, and advocacy of racial or religious hatred. The Human Rights Convention. In December 2010, the United Nations celebrated the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Human Rights Council, established in 2006 by the General Assembly of the United Nations and reporting directly to the Human Rights Council. It's made by 47 states representatives and is tasked with strengthening the protection and promotion of human rights around the world. Universal human rights, the Universal Periodic Review is designed to review the human rights record of all 193 members of the UN General Assembly every 4 years. The review is a cooperative, state-driven process, is a state-driven process under the auspices of the Council of the United Nations, which provides the opportunity to present measures taken, challenges to be met, and to improve the human rights situation in their country, each country, and to meet the obligations of enforcement. The UN High Commission for Human Rights exercises principal responsibility for UN human rights activities. The High Commission is mandated to respond to serious violations of human rights and to undertake preventive action. Most of the core human rights treaties have an oversight body, which is responsible for reviewing the implementation of that treaty by the countries that have ratified it. Individuals whose rights have been violated can file complaints directly to the Committee overseeing human rights treaties. Virtually every UN body has specialized committees involved to some degree in the protection of human rights. For example, the right to development, which is the core Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals, the right to food, the right to labor, rights defined and protected by the International Labor Organization, gender equality, which is promulgated by UN Women, the rights to children, indigenous people, and disabled persons. The U.S. in the past has signed and verified and observed most human rights treaties and championed their application. What do you see as the challenge, if you think about it, to all of this? Is that it relies on states to do the right thing, to enforce international law. That's not an easy task. And if the state does not want to do it, it doesn't do it. And there is not much recourse for the rest of the international community except the use of force to attain goals. So if any state wants to violate, there's not much pressure that can be applied to them to correct what they have done. This brings me here to the U.S. As I said in the past, the U.S. has signed and verified and observed most UN human rights treaties and championed their application. However, with respect to the Trump administration and international human rights law, it is the most extensive assault the American administration has perpetrated, the most extensive assault on human rights and accountability by any administration in modern history in the United States. Trump supports dictators, autocrats, and favors stripping Americans of the most basic human rights, often defying the U.S. Constitution. Historically, the U.S. has helped establish promote human rights law. The Trump administration has reversed this historic American accomplishment and position. Trump's assault on human rights advances no American national security interest. Trump supports demagogues and authoritarians. Trump is forsaking U.S. global rule of law legacy, and law legacy. Trump rejects the principles of human rights, the non-use of force, and earlier we have mentioned and not repeated, he has said that the United States will take over and colonize Greenland simply because he assumes we have the military power to do that. The United States already has a base on Greenland, so it is a military base. So it is not a question of whether the United States has a military representation. It is a matter of hubris, a matter of imperial proclivities on Trump's part in his administration. Anyhow, Trump, as I was saying, Trump forsaking the U.S. global rule of law and legacy, the law of law legacy. Trump rejects the principles of human rights, the non-use of force, collaboration to solve global problems, and sovereign equality of the state. So once again, the bottom line, I think, is that we need states individually and collectively to enforce international human rights law. Without the compliance of the states, it doesn't exist. And I will also say that, particularly for the students in the audience here, when you get into positions of power, you ought to remember this. You ought to take part of it. This is something that ought to shape your minds. Thank you.